Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to the explainer. If you've spent, any time at all on the internet lately, you've definitely been bombarded by this massive hype around AI business ideas. I mean, it's everywhere, right? Everyone seems to be making these wild promises that you're going to become a millionaire literally overnight with just a couple of prompts and zero actual effort. Well, today we're completely cutting through that noise. We are setting all that hype aside to look at the actual pragmatic roadmap to building a real AI business. We're going to use hard data, real case studies, and some seriously structured insights to show you exactly how this is working out there in the real world. And look, I totally get it. There is a lot of deep skepticism out there right now, and I completely validate your wariness when it comes to these get-rich-quick AI gurus. I think this hilariously blunt quote from Reddit user North Shore Board Guy really hits the nail on the head. Those courses are all scams, and honestly, a lot of them are. People are just exhausted from paying for these vague promises and super generic ChatGPT tutorials. But here's the critical distinction you have to keep in mind. Just because some gurus are selling snake oil, that doesn't mean the underlying technology itself lacks value.
Because the financial potential here, it's incredibly real. Let's pivot to the actual opportunity we're looking at. Recent market estimates project that the generative AI market could reach anywhere between $200 billion and a staggering $1.3 trillion by 2030. Think about that for a second. That is a massive generational wave of capital. But, and this is key, capturing a piece of that pie doesn't mean you need to build the next trillion-dollar tech giant like OpenAI. It simply means finding practical, high-value ways to apply this tech to everyday problems right now.
So here is our clear, structured roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The AI gold rush, 2. Finding real AI opportunities, 3. Validating your idea, 4. Scaling and execution, and finally, number 5, the hidden risks. Let's get into it. Section 1, the AI gold rush. So to really grasp this, we need to understand the current landscape of AI entrepreneurship and why accessibility has just completely changed the game. Think about it. Unlike a few years ago, when creating any kind of AI solution meant you needed massive research budgets, specialized engineering teams, and deep coding knowledge, today's landscape is entirely democratized. You literally do not need a technical background anymore. Today, solopreneurs can go from a completely wild idea to a fully functional minimum viable product, an MVP, in under 24 hours. User-friendly tools like Canva handle the design side of things, while platforms like Cursor and Replit are taking care of the complex coding. So the barrier to entry, it isn't money or software engineering anymore. It's simply your ability to execute and actually find the right problem to solve. Moving on to Section 2, finding real AI opportunities. This is where we need to shift our focus away from trying to build some massive, complex AI brain and start looking at hyper-niche applications. There's a really sharp contrast in the market right now. On one side, you've got these generic do-it-all AI apps. You know the ones. They make these broad promises to be everything for everyone. And honestly, those are incredibly hard to sell because they don't solve a specific pain point. But on the other side, we have the highly targeted niche AI service. This is where the real magic happens. A successful first AI business solves one repeat problem in one specific niche. Think about something like automated podcast editing specifically for wellness creators, or writing AI-powered product descriptions tailored just for Etsy sellers. It's all about focus. To really ground this idea, let's look at some specific low-barrier examples identified by Tom's Guide after they tested 200 different AI business models. You could offer AI content repurposing, like taking a single, super long-winded blog post and turning it into a week's worth of punchy social media shorts. Or consider AI-powered product descriptions. Imagine finding a local cold pizza delivery company named, say, Crusted, that has just terrible SEO. You could take their weak online listing and instantly generate high-converting, benefit-focused copy for them. Some entrepreneurs are even using AI image generation to create and sell custom, handwritten greeting cards. These are highly specific, easily executed services that offer immediate, undeniable value to a client. Here is a fascinating real-world example of the power of a hyper-niche application. This is from an ICT work study, and it showcases a real-world AI mentor designed specifically for Kenyan entrepreneurs. The user in this scenario runs a fast food joint next to a busy Matatohu terminus, which is a local minibus station, and they're asking how to stand out against some really stiff local competition. Notice what the AI actually does here. It doesn't give some generic Silicon Valley corporate advice. No way. It gives highly localized strategies, like differentiating the menu with local ingredients and starting a super simple loyalty program.
It solves a specific human problem in a specific context. That is exactly the sweet spot you should be aiming for.
Section 3, validating your idea. Okay, so once you have your specific problem to solve, you hit the most crucial phase. You absolutely must test the business model to make sure it actually solves a human problem before you spend a single dime building it out. We can look to the Pitch Bob validation framework as a perfect guide for this. Traditionally, proving a startup idea right takes about 40 hours of really deep, tedious research. But an AI business validator can condense that whole process into a 1-hour test across 5 key assumptions. Desirability. Do people actually want this thing? Viability. Can it make money? Feasibility. Can we actually build it with today's tech? Usability. Can normal, everyday people figure out how to use it? And ethical. Could this cause harm or cross boundaries? Testing these 5 pillars up front isn't just a nice to have. It is absolutely non-negotiable.
Now, the crucial point in this validation phase is launching small pilots to see if people will actually trust and, more importantly, pay for your output. Listen to this observation from Elizabeth Planet. I added a couple of trusted sources to the chatbot and the answers improved tremendously. And guys, this is the secret sauce. General AI output is often just too vague and prone to hallucinations to actually charge money for. You have to ground your AI in trusted, curated information to build customer confidence. When a user tells you the output became noticeably better specifically because of your curation, that is a massive validation signal that you have a real, viable business on your hands.
Section 4, scaling and execution. So now we move into the mechanics of taking that validated MVP and actually building out the infrastructure to handle real-world demand. Successful scaling isn't just about frantically trying to add more clients to your roster. It's about creating reliable, repeatable systems. You need to launch small pilots, gather real feedback, and iterate quickly. And more importantly, you must track KPIs that are tied to actual client value, like hours saved or revenue generated, rather than just charging a flat fee for access to a tool. Finally, you really have to use what are called canary deployments. Think of this like the old canary in the coal mine. You release your new updates to a very small group of users first. This ensures that if there's a bug, you don't accidentally break the entire system for everyone all at once. And flawless execution, well, that requires some incredibly strict parameters. Consider the actual system prompt used to guide that Kenyan AI mentor we talked about earlier. The engineers behind it didn't just type in, "be helpful," and call it a day. The prompt meticulously structures the AI's boundaries. It basically forces the AI to provide exactly 3 to 5 actionable strategies, format them with numbered lists, use simple, non-technical English, avoid all jargon, and crucially, never discuss politics or religion. A successful AI business requires exactly this level of careful, granular engineering behind the scenes to make sure the execution is flawless, safe, and super consistent.
Which brings us to Section 5, the hidden risks.
Time for a severe reality check. We need to talk about the legal, ethical, and operational pitfalls that those online gurus conveniently seem to forget to mention. Let me just ask you a critical question to jolt your attention here. What actually happens when your AI steals a trademark? AI tools are incredible brainstormers, for sure, but they are absolutely notorious for scraping existing intellectual property. If you just blindly trust AI-generated content, you could literally be opening yourself up to a massive lawsuit before you even make your first sale. Consider this real-world test. The researchers over at startups.co.uk tested several AI generators to build a business totally from scratch. ChatGPT confidently pitched a business name called Green Gleam. Well, the problem? Green Gleam is an already existing, real-world, eco-friendly cleaning firm over in California. Using AI without verifying the output can lead straight to trademark dilution and copyright infringement. And beyond that, you've got to constantly watch out for algorithmic bias, cultural insensitivity in the AI's tone, and strict data privacy breaches. For instance, if you feed sensitive client data into a public model like ChatGPT, you could instantly be violating GDPR laws. The absolute unbreakable rule here is that human oversight is literally non-negotiable. You cannot just set it and forget it. As an AI entrepreneur, you have to partner with legal advisors early on. You need to offer transparent audit trails so your clients know exactly how the AI arrived at a specific answer. And you must thoroughly review all AI outputs. At the end of the day, you, the human, are ultimately responsible for what the machine produces. Finally, Section 6, the bottom line. So, we've gone all the way from the initial gold rush hype down to the granular execution and the harsh legal realities. And really, it all comes down to this one provocative final thought. Are you building a product or are you just building a prompt? Because technology alone doesn't equal a business. If all you have is a clever ChatGPT prompt, you don't have a defensible business model. But if you can identify a real human problem, validate it rigorously, execute it within safe engineered boundaries, and deliver measurable value, well, then you have a real AI business. Think about how you can apply these pragmatic steps to your own ideas. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.